Welcome back to the Story Highway, where some stories are whispered, some are remembered, and some are written but never mailed. Tonight's story is about love that waited too long, words that stayed trapped on paper, and a goodbye that arrived after it was needed most. This is The Letters That Were Never Sent. Every morning at exactly 6:40 a.m., without fail, Henry Caldwell sat at the small wooden desk beside his apartment window in Brookfield. He did not need an alarm. His body remembered the time on its own. The city outside was always quiet at that hour. Streetlights still glowing, bakery doors just beginning to open, the hum of distant buses sounding like breaths between dreams. Henry would straighten the stack of blank paper, refill his pen, and place a chipped coffee mug on the desk. Then he would open the drawer and take out a wooden box, smooth from years of handling, tied with a faded blue ribbon. Inside were 37 letters. They had been written carefully, folded neatly, never sealed, never sent. Henry never rushed when he wrote. He believed words deserved patience, and yet, somehow, patience was what cost him everything. He met Lily Monroe in the fall of 1989 on a bench outside a bookstore that no longer existed. She was reading the last page of a novel and crying openly, unconcerned with who might see. Henry had offered her a tissue without asking why. "That bad?" he asked. "That beautiful," she replied. That was Lily. She felt things completely, loudly, fearlessly. Henry, on the other hand, felt things quietly, carefully, like he was always afraid emotion might spill and make a mess. They became inseparable without ever officially deciding to be. They shared coffees that grew cold because conversation mattered more. They walked streets with no destination. Lily would stop suddenly, look at the sky, and say, "Promise me we won't waste time." Henry would smile. He always smiled. The night everything changed was ordinary. They sat on the floor of Henry's apartment, backs against the couch, rain tapping softly on the window. Lily traced invisible shapes on the carpet. "Do you think we're brave?" she asked. Henry didn't understand the question. "Brave enough to choose something and stand by it?" she continued. Henry hesitated. He always did. "I think," he said slowly, "that we don't need to rush. We're good like this." Lily didn't argue. She simply nodded. And sometimes silence is louder than any fight. The next morning, Lily was gone. No note, no explanation, no goodbye. The first letter Henry wrote was full of anger. "You left without letting me explain." The second letter was defensive. "You never said you needed more." The third letter was quieter. "I didn't know how to say it." Year after year, the letters changed. They stopped blaming and started remembering. Henry wrote about promotions he didn't celebrate, about friends who moved away, about how the city replaced the old bookstore with a glass building that reflected nothing back. He wrote about Lily's laugh, her habit of leaving cabinet doors open, the way she always believed tomorrow would be better, and demanded it be lived today. By the 20th letter, Henry no longer expected a reply. He just needed to speak. Life moved forward, as it always does. Henry grew older. His hair thinned. His handwriting softened. But every year, on the same date, he wrote one more letter. Not because he believed Lily would return, but because some love doesn't disappear. It just learns how to wait quietly. One gray afternoon, Henry visited the public library, a place Lily once loved. He volunteered there occasionally, organizing old donations. That day, a new memorial board stood near the entrance. Henry wasn't looking for anything, but his eyes stopped anyway. Lily Monroe, 1968 to 2023. The room tilted. The librarian noticed his expression and walked over. "You knew her?" she asked gently. Henry swallowed. "Yes," he said, "a long time ago." "She volunteered here every Saturday," the woman said, "always smiling, always asking if people were okay." Henry closed his eyes. That sounded exactly like her. That night, Henry opened the wooden box and took out every letter. He read them all, out loud, alone. Some made him smile. Some broke him completely. By dawn, his voice was hoarse, his eyes red, and his hands steady for the first time in years. He chose one final sheet of paper, and for the first time, he wrote without fear. 2 days later, a single envelope arrived at the library. It was placed beneath Lily's photograph. Inside were just a few lines. "I loved you in all the ways I didn't know how to say. I was afraid of choosing, and lost you because of it. I hope, wherever you are, you felt my love, even when I stayed silent." The librarian read it quietly, and for a moment, the room felt full. If this story stayed with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and keep traveling with us on the Story Highway.